Hey everyone, so in this video I want to spend a few minutes talking about drawing eyes in Anime Studio. Now, the challenge to drawing an eye is that when you think about the anatomy of an eye, it relies on depth. And in a 2D image, you do not have depth. So what you can do is you can draw the eye in layers. Now, when I say layers, I don't mean using actual layers. Everything will be drawn on a single layer, but within a layer, objects will appear in a certain order. So let's take as a quick demonstration the shape tool. So we have autofill selected, we have the oval tool pointed at, and what we'll do is we'll just draw a circle. Let's change the color, draw another circle. Change the color, draw another circle. So basically objects are appearing in as far as from bottom to top in the order in which they are drawn. The first object you draw is on the bottom, and then the next, and then next. Now, if I was to cut one of these from the image and paste it, it will be on top. So this kind of sequential functionality is what we're going to use to make the eye work. So let's get into that. So let's take a moment just to draw a basic outline of a face. So nothing really special. Just kind of basic curvature. We can always work on this later. This, we just want to have a basic framing for the eyes. So let's choose whatever color you want for skin. We'll paste. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw the eyes, and we're going to draw them sequentially. So we're going to start with the white of the eye because that would be technically the lowest layer visually. So let's choose white, and with the shape tool, we'll use the oval. This does not have to be exact because this is going to get covered up. Next, we want the cornea. So again, we're going to use circle, but we're going to use a different color. Let's use like a blue because they have blue eyes. Now, also, the cornea tends to be partially cut off by the eyelid and the surrounding eye. So what we want to do is we don't have to worry about the exact shape because you'll see how we're going to cover that up in a second. But we're going to shrink that down. And let's shrink it a little bit more. And it's got to look kind of creepy until we actually finish. Okay. So now the pupil. For this, we're going to kind of cheat. We're just going to use a dot. So we draw a single dot. And remember, when you're drawing a dot, when you're drawing the outline, it uses the stroke color, not the fill. And then we're going to take the line width tool and just blow that up, and it makes a nice round circle. So like I said, kind of cheating. Rather than drawing a circle, we're just going to use the dot. Now, for a pupil, that's way too huge. So let's just shrink that in again. That looks about right. Now, if you're going for like a stylized appearance, you can put like another dot here to make it look like light shining on the eye. So if you wanted, you could do, I guess we could also use white. Oops, sorry. It's got to be the stroke, not the fill. And you could do the same thing. You can create a dot, and then you kind of blow it up a little bit with the line tool, and then you put it somewhere like overlapping both. And again, that's more stylized. But then again, the very nature of this is cartoonish. Okay, so it's kind of taken shape, no pun intended. Now the main thing is we need the actual skin color to cover up the rest of the eye and give it the shape. So this is where we really worry about the shape of the eye. So what we're going to do, the actual outline color doesn't matter because we're going to hide the outline. We'll just go back to black. And we'll go back to the tone that we used for skin. And then what we do is we're going to do two things. We're going to use the shape tool to, again, draw an outline that we really don't care about. Actually, in this case, let's get rid of autofill. Now, we will eventually use this color, but we need to draw the inside eye. And this is where you is where you concern yourself with shape. Now we're going to just draw something kind of vague like this for the moment. Get rid of that outline for the moment, although we may eventually want it. And this is where you just start shaping the eye. This is where you care about shape. So is the corner kind of like that? Or is that too sharp? Do you maybe want it to be point-ish, but not too sharp? That kind of thing. So now we'll paint. And so this is really going to be the shape of the eye. We hide this border. So what's going to happen is when we put this here, because this color matches this, you're not going to see any of this. You're just going to see the eye. So if we move this over the eye, suddenly when you do that, it comes into focus. Again, sorry, that pun was intended. And then we go like this and put this over the face. And then we copy, paste, and then we use this tool here which flips horizontally. And generally speaking, on an actual human face, the distance between eyes tend to be about 1 eye in width. So we're a little bit off from that, but this is kind of stylized anyways. Like particularly if you're looking at like Japanese animation, it really doesn't follow necessarily any kind of anatomical standard. And now we're just moving some points to give a little more shape to the face. And we will give them a smile. We'll put that, oops, sorry, didn't mean to rotate that. We'll just move that there. And it was kind of a smirk, so we'll turn that more into just a smile. And what you can do is when you're drawing a line, the default is that the ends are thinner and the middle is thicker. Not sure why. So if you want a consistent thickness, I mean, that might look right for a smile. But if you want a consistent thickness, you can bring it to 0, and then you can do it again. And now you can just do things like kind of like put some hair in place. That one will use a separate layer, because if the hair is overlapping with the eye. But I'm going to pause for a moment here. Now that I've changed for a layer and you can't see all those outline vectors, you can see how that merges in nicely. And now it's just a matter of drawing some hair. Let's choose like brown. And again, this isn't meant to be artistic. In this particular example, this is meant to be very, very technical as far as the process. So yes, this isn't going to win any art awards, and that is absolutely not the point. The point is that this looks like an eye, and yet you can't tell that you actually drew it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. And you can't tell that this, the outline of the eye, is actually a blank. As you recall, we used this object here, and we put a hole in the center for the eye. And then if you want, you can just build on this some more. Like you can create, like for instance, you created the eye. Well, if you want, you can have like a separate eyelid. You can add eyebrows. Eyebrows, you probably would use the free draw tool for. Let's also make the eyelid brown. And the eyelid actually we'll put on this layer so we're not overlapping those. And the eyebrow might be one example where you do want the middle thicker than the edge. And there we go. Again, it's not meant to be high art. It's meant to talk about the technical ability, about how you can draw something that is incredibly complex like an eye fairly simply. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you have any questions, just let me know. and the eyes can be freely animated. I would recommend possibly putting each eye on its own layer, and that if you want to like rotate this or something like that, you might want to rotate the layer rather than the points themselves. Sometimes when you take points and you rotate them, if they rotate in a straight line, it tends to change the size of the object. So sometimes if you're just trying to do a simple rotate, you might want to use a bone layer, which I mentioned in the other video, or you might want to rotate the layer itself. So I think that will just about do it. If you have any questions, just let me know if there's anything you'd like to see. And I hope you have a good day.